Welcome, Dylan, Kijos, Abby, and Asteroids. Good to see everyone. And I appreciate your kind message, Abby. Great to hear that you like it. Let's see, Dylan, Mr. Nice Model 1 distribution on hype. Okay, gonna look at it in a minute. Welcome, Arnold, as well. So, I was at the gym, so I haven't seen this last price action, but as I warned in a group for the Dark Mall, that was exactly this. Where we had, I can show it here. Like I shared, it's dangerous price action to trade here, because we literally had a squeeze right here of all the shorts. So then for the market maker, they have to push it a little bit. And then once these liquidations of the shorts start getting in right there, then it's just the market does the rest, because every short stop turns into a long. So then you have automatic buy pressure just by the stops getting hit. But here you can already see that this is like all liquidity. So then often that can get reversed quickly. And that is what we've seen right now. So this is just grabbing liquidity from shorts and now wiping out the longs. Basically resetting the market a bit, which is healthy. What we had locally was once again a clean range. So we had this as our starting point. So range high, range low. And then here basically tap 2 very locally, but shows again it works. It works. Tap 3. I was not watching it myself at that moment, but you broke structure back to bearish right here. Technically here, yeah, it's the same basically. So this was a 1, 2, 3 model 1 distribution. Target the range low. Would have been a nice 2R scalp trade. So that one worked out. Shows you again plenty of opportunities everywhere. And then from the distribution, price went over into a accumulation. So if we watch at our deviation threshold, you can see that this move stayed within the deviation threshold, in which it is a valid potential deviation. While doing that, you had a 1, 2, 3, aka a absorption, and then broke structure back to bullish right here. Was unfortunate that price did not grab this level. This was the extreme liquidity level. If price took that, then you had a clean entry for model 2, or tapped into this demand, because then you would have like a clean model 2 setup. Right now we front ran both the extreme liquidity right there and the extreme demand, which is this level. So there was no entry confirmation. A bit similar to the Tao model 2, model 1 into model 2, where we also front ran it a little bit. I will go over that one later. And then eventually I saw that price was pushing above the highs with this local structure. High, high, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, and then higher, high. And this was our local structure. And this was where I took like a risky trade. It's not a trade I would advise to take. It's more of an advanced one. But my reasoning behind it was that probably everyone was still looking to short the move, which they have been doing the whole uptrend. And my reasoning was, people are looking for this as a distribution, but structure is up, value area high was defended. So why don't I join the trend with a long? Then if we squeeze all the shorts, I have a good long setup. And if we break structure back to bearish, so break below it, then the distribution is confirmed, and then I can switch my long into a short and then trade it down. So eventually I took an entry right here, stop below that market structure low. And I believe it was even tighter because I had like a 6R. And I believe I closed the exact top. So that was in hindsight a good take profit, because initially I had it at 83k. But yeah, good reason to close it out, because now all the longs are getting squeezed, which we also can see on the order flow. So you can see here, let's zoom out a little bit, that from the moment that we hit the high, open interest has not been going up. So earlier, during the uptrend, right here, you can see that open interest is also going higher, meaning the market is pushing higher and open interest is going higher, which means that longs are adding to the trend. And that is what you want to see, because then you have a healthy trend. But from here, open interest started to stall a bit. So no new positions were opened. And then here, price actually started going down. Open interest started going down while price went up, which shows that likely a lot of shorts here got wiped out. And right now, open interest is also going down. So first, shorts got stopped out, and now longs have been getting stopped out. Also, the exact top is where spot started to sell off a little bit. Nothing too significant. But yeah, so this is the local, more dangerous price action. But if we zoom out, let's see. Yeah, spot is still going up, so it's not too bad. And yeah, locally we are just trending up, and we are not losing any important levels. We are currently retesting the point of control. So until proven otherwise, this can just be a healthy reset. And therefore we need to hold around these levels. If we look at the liquidity, which I also shared in the group, we have a lot of liquidations between 80k and like here, between 80.5 and 80k. So that means that if price comes here, a lot of longs will get wiped out. And then if we show that to the normal chart, let's get rid of this local range. So here again, people say you cannot trade, but even here, the local models, it provided a short, a long, only here already. So it shows there's always a trade if you just know where to look. And if we zoom out, let's see what currently our 4-hour structure is still this low. So it's important to keep in mind. And the hourly structure right now has changed from here to here. So our hourly bullish structure is right there. So then we know 4-hour structure is still high, higher low, higher high. So 4-hour structure can give a retrace to here, or even sweep the low and then still continue. And then local, like hourly structure, we have high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So also anything here, even a sweep, can still be a higher low for a higher high. So don't FOMO into shorts or anything. It's still against every trend. This can just be a reset, and then if price holds around here, can just be a bullish retest, or like for 4-hour get a deeper retrace, and then continue higher. What I just showed was that between 80 and 80.5, so that's basically like this zone, that this is where a lot of long liquidations are resting. For market makers, that's interesting, because if they want to reload their positions and want to buy, all the longs that are in, that will get liquidated if price comes here, a long position turns into a sell once it gets hit. So that means that if price comes here, a lot of sell pressure will come in. And that is where often big players, if they want to fill their orders, can use that liquidity to reverse price. So I'm mainly interested in from here let's move into here and then see if we get an hourly break or an hourly SFP. Like an hourly SFP would be the most bullish case. Or I can also see a deeper move towards that 4-hour level. So if we draw the fib from this 4-hour swing low to the current 4-hour swing high, then the fib is around here. And that will be in line with taking that liquidity. So my main idea is to either get like a super clean range on top of here, where you take like low, mid-range, and then if you start ranging here, look for accumulations along that. That will be the cleanest. And otherwise just watch how price develops and how we move into demand here and react around that hourly structure level or form a higher low right here. Still, until proven otherwise, everything is pointing higher, so don't only focus on shorts, because eventually the short will come, but then it will be obvious. And then you want to have bullets to short and not be now like, oh, I need to short, and then you get stopped out again. And then you short it again, and then you get stopped out again. And then in hindsight, you see, oh, there was a super clean tree drive with a breaker structure, and then you don't dare to short anymore. So eventually it will be obvious, but you have to just be patient for that to happen. And until proven otherwise, let's delete those levels. Alert here, hourly structure, and alert here where the liquidity is. And if you just zoom out, then I shared yesterday, like we reclaimed the former range low. So yesterday we closed a daily candle in that level, and today's candle was also getting above. So far a strong candle, which means that if we hold that, this can just be on its way to this massive level. This is like a massive, massive level where I'm super interested in swing shorts. Until then, yeah, like be careful shorting. It's literally makes more sense to look for longs here than for shorts. However, for now, not really seeing a super clean setup, so I wouldn't be surprised either. What we often see with Bitcoin is that you have a strong trend like this, and then everyone either missed out, so now they want to long it, or everyone has been shorting it. And what Bitcoin more often than not does is that it gives like a move and then starts a range here, which endures longer than you think. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens either, and that everyone is gonna short every bottom and long every top, and then you have the perfect environment for a clean range. So just wait for the clean setups, they will come, but locally this looks like it can take a while for a high probability setup again to form. Welcome, Lise, Slatan, Not a Force. Good to see you as well in the chat. Sudo. What demand are you looking at there? Which demand? Or what demand? Let's see what kind of demand levels we have. Like these are old levels, but still demand. We can delete them for the moment. Like if we look at the 18-hour and just look at what are our locals, see local demand here, which is now the most important one, because it probably look there with that 4-hour structure level below it. Then I would say that this is the most important local demand. Okay, let's see locally. So we tested daily point of control, are now bouncing from it. As long as we don't lose daily low, I think we are in the process of a very early range in the making. So most bullish case would be to get like this, probably a little bit deeper depending on how we react here. But then get to the range, and since we're still in an uptrend and above the range, we prefer to look for accumulations and then trade it higher again. Like this would be perfect, especially if we take out that hourly low and then continue higher. Yeah, so BTC, it's bullish until proof otherwise, but I don't see a really clean setup right now. So requires some patience. Then I'm interested in ETH. Let's see. So I missed a clean long. And let's delete all this shit. Let's get rid of that. Did we took the high or did we create equal highs? Okay, price did not take the high. That's clean, because then you have like equal highs, or this is just liquidity now. If you swept the high, then that's more bearish. Right now, this is kind of like a magnet. We still have this main range high, range low, sweep of the low, aka deviation, and locally, yeah, this looks awful. It's very ugly looking liquidity. This right here is the extreme liquidity. But let's watch locally. If we just watch a structure with high, high, low, this hourly structure, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. We took the high right here, higher high, higher low, higher high. So this is our market structure low on the hourly. And so far we are swing failing it. So that is also not bearish until you close below it. Locally, it looks like a nasty one, two, three, that kind of a distribution. 1, 2, 3, 1 here. So that doesn't look too good for the bulls. Let's see what the levels are. If we just play it unbiased, then did we add structure? We fell through this demand, so filled demand. This looks like a clean deviation, and we broke 50-minute structure back to bearish right here. Did we leave behind supply? I see supply right here. Like ETH does look a lot worse as BTC, but it often does. What I would be locally looking for on ETH, I don't see a long for the foreseeable future. Only a potential short if we get our model, which has been past weeks the best one. The model 1, 1, 2, 3 local structure broke here. We are back in the value area. So we broke back in the value area low high right here. Currently at the value area low. So this is not where you wanted to short. But we can watch. Do we have, yeah, I already know this is probably, the fib is exactly at the supply and that's what we want. Yeah, look, that's exactly what we want. Right now, if price comes back up and you get structure, test the high, then this is a short back to the range low right there. But yeah, below that range, you have a lot of ugly lows. This looks like really bad. So locally, I will be more interested in potential short if we get a move back into this supply UI. So I have an alert here. What we have to keep in mind though is that the hourly, as long as we do not break it, this can be a potential distribution range, but our hourly structure remains bullish. So with high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. If this ends up as an SFP, then according to market structure rules, this is our targeted high. So we need super clean triggers right here, because this is basically a distribution against simple market structure continuation. And context-wise, we are in a high time frame uptrend. Things are pointing higher. So I would not long it here, simply because of how we are looking. But the short doesn't have to play out, because technically this is our target if this ends up as an SFP, which it currently looks like. So this is POI, but triggers need to be very clean. So I'm just gonna wait to see how that develops. Then quickly looking at BTC. Yeah. Hype. First zoom out. We had this range, high, low. And here that deviation, super clean deviation. And more locally, we had this model 1, which I faded, which was the higher low eventually for this move. And now price is close to yeah, the high again, with a lot of buy side liquidity. And then we formed this local range with super clean demand below it. And it indeed gave a model 1. Let's see if it was tradable. So here we took the high, tap 2, then here tap 3. And now we are forming tap 2. Yeah, so technically it was a valid one. Because here you had high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So here you broke structure. And at that moment it was also back in the value area high. So then technically you could have shorted it here, stop there, target range low for 2R again. Clean, not the highest probability range, because with this move you already took quite a lot of liquidity. But here again, BTC showed 1, hype showed 1. So they are everywhere. You just have to be alert. And now you probably already know what I'm looking for. Is the purpose of this distribution for price to flow over into an accumulation? I would prefer a model 1 because we have that super clean demand below it. This demand with this imbalance. So model 1 into a model 1 accumulation following our bullish structure. So right now this will be what I love to see. Get some longs into hype. Let's see structure-wise what we have. 4 hours no structure, 3 no, 2 also not. And look how clean this demand on the 2 hours. Sell to buy, leaving an imbalance behind. Hourly structure is basically high low, higher high, high low, higher high, higher low, higher high. But we wicked it. So then the market structure low changes to this level. And that perfectly aligns with the model 1, in which we don't break structure, but still have a valid bullish market structure and follow that accumulation idea. So worth keeping a close eye on the development of this accumulation. Yeah, and then it's just the same setup again. So I don't think I need to explain it. We need some time displacement because this move is pretty aggressive. And often you want the same distance between tab 1 and 2, almost similar to tab 2 and 3. So then you can see it can take till Thursday night. So don't FOMO into position already, because what likely happens is maybe strong push up, then come down, and then have the same distance here between the tabs. And then you can see we have enough time for that. Give the return to zone, and then it's a super clean, high probability long, because you trade in line with the uptrend, super clean demand below you, and then accumulation, it's easy play. An SFP with BTC, also SMT. Yeah, I don't work with SMTs, but some people do. But I don't. I think SFT. I've seen a lot of people talk about every SFP, SMT between BTC and ETH, because it has been the whole uptrend. It has been giving SMTs, but that has been not working. So I don't have exact numbers on it because I don't use it. Because this whole uptrend, I've seen people say SMT, 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 while Bitcoin is just continuing to push higher. So I'm not sure how reliable it is, to be very honest. Also a little alert there. Then I want to look for longs on hype, and then I want to go to Tao, because it hurts, but you have to face the pain. Or at least I shorted the 1, 2, 3, 4 model 1 into model 2, and then I shorted this retest. So I took the short on this aggressive retest around here, took it out here. A nice model 1 into model 2 distribution, basically the cleanest model we have. And then we pre-planned the model 1, 1, 2, 3, where we said this is the key level where bulls need to step in, because we have super clean demand, and right under the demand there's only liquidity. So if bulls want to step or defend the chart from breaking much lower and breaking 4-hour structure back to bearish, they had to step in here, and that is exactly what they did. Broke structure back to bullish, and there I wanted to see the model 1, 1, 2, 3, flow over into a model 2. In order for a model 1 to go into a model 2, you need to either grab extreme liquidity, which is your first higher low in an accumulation, lower high in a distribution, or take extreme demand, which is basically the lowest obvious demand you can find. So if we look what is our first higher low after your third tap, high, high low, high high, high low, high high. First higher low is this week. So that is the extreme liquidity level. And extreme demand, then you can just zoom out and see on which time frame do I have demand. And then on the hourly, I see sell to buy with an imbalance. So that's your extreme demand. So what I want to see was or take out extreme liquidity or tap into this demand. And if you then have a tap into it, get a local structure break, back to bullish, that's your entry. That's a high probability entry because then you have your model 1 into model 2, which is basically an extended accumulation. But yeah, we pre-planned everything. Even here that we came down, that we created supply right here. So we hoped to see price take out that supply, then come back for the liquidity, then break structure. And then it was crazy long. But yeah, we front ran the low, which was 280.65, and we came to 280.92. So literally 30 cents that we did not grab it. And we even had structure in that leg down. So here it was low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, break. So if this one was 30 cents lower, then this was our breaker structure, which would have been the entry confirmation. Let's say we enter just on the close, enter there, stop loss there. Target is always the opposite side of the range, right there. Would have been a 4R, and later price came back for the high, higher low, higher high. But yeah, this is just unfortunate, part of the game. And yeah, sometimes it's like this. It can be a difference of 30 cents. But it shows again, like the idea, everything is perfect. Just a little bit unfortunate that we did not wick it. Gonna quickly look if we did it on Binance, for example. Because then I'm just gonna blame Bybit. Oh, yeah. Look. This makes it even more painful. From now on, I'm gonna also monitor the USD Binance perps, because this would have been, this is what we wanted to see. Then it would have been low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Take extreme liquidity, break, entry, after the break, entry right there, stop loss below the low, target there. Okay. Lately I've been seeing it also with BTC a lot, that on Bybit it doesn't take the low, but then I'm watching the order flow, and then on Binance it does take it, and then I play like the model 2 because it took extreme liquidity, and then it ends up in a win. So I'm gonna monitor this. Maybe we I'm just gonna have to switch over to Binance because that's the highest liquidity exchange, and this is giving the triggers we want. So yeah, I'm gonna monitor that because this was the reason. This is exactly the pre-planning we made, like to the fucking dollar. And Binance and Bybit fucked us. So would have loved to, yeah. Now I'm gonna just blame Bybit for the loss and not myself. Let's see. I can't look at Tao. Yeah, it's painful. Bybit should reimburse us. Yeah, we're gonna sue them. Maybe that's the best thing to do. Okay, so new thing that I have learned as well. If we are looking for a sweep so close, then I'm also just gonna look at Binance because that one is then leading. Now that we missed it, what is the view? Yeah, as said before, this was one big gap. So if we would break above here, I said it's very likely that like this is nothing. So you can get rapid expansion. And that expansion is what we see now, with this being the strong supply, which was created during that yeah, that FUD event, that a big player withdrawal out of the system. Yeah, so that was unfortunate, but then we discussed our crypto pairs. So DAO, not really interesting at this moment. I will still monitor it because DAO gives a lot of models. So let's just clean it up to erase the pain. Like potentially new range right here. Range high, range low. And I always watch, do you have demand or liquidity directly under your current range? Looks like there's some 10-minute demand here. 5 minutes, 3 minutes. Yeah, well, let's see. Like this can be the new range to watch. And then just the same as always, we have that massive supply above. So that's always nice. Then you can watch, like if we first come to the highs, then it's valid to look for distributions. So I always say context is very important. Like where are you gonna, you don't want to short or look directly at it from a distribution perspective in an uptrend. But now context wise, we are reaching a massive level of supply. And then you can watch, like if that aligns with sweeps of your high, then this context wise, it makes sense to see a distribution form here. So then I will be super interested in short. If before you take the highs, price now validated this range because we tapped the mid range. If instead we go down, take the lows, then I'm interested in longs again, playing it into the highs, and from there look for shorts. So pretty interesting level, just playing ranges. That's it for Tao. So Tao, watching this range, alerts at the extremes. For hype, watching for the accumulation to form, which will take some time, but interested in longs. Eat, a bit weird price action. Not really interested in trade. I rather trade like Hype or Tao because they look cleaner than Eat. But the only real thing I can see is we can watch for potential model 1, 2, 3 into model 2 if you get confirmations. The confirmation is super important. Then this is worth a trade. And BTC, yeah, not really seeing a clean trade for the moment. I want to see a range or anything form. And then we also, like USDT, we broke below the range. So the model 1 accumulation idea, which was our favorite, is finally in place. And we have the liquidity, which is the start of these lows. We are very close to that with this big imbalance below it and then massive demand. So this is the level where price can form the model 1 and the third tap. But the third tap, if we look at the deviation threshold, it's down here. So this whole zone is where the third tap can be formed. So it can also here take a while to confirm it. And because it's a pretty high time frame range, I would not look at a 50-minute breaker structure. Then I would look like here, what do we have? I already see on the 18-hour, we have 18-hour supply right here, 18-hour supply right here, and local supply right here. Then on the 12-hour, do we have, on which time frame do we have structure? 6-hour not. On the 4-hour, 4 hour is always a nice one. We have low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So this is the 4-hour bearish structure, which means that if you break above that, then I'm sure that, or then the model 1 is confirmed. Protecting that 4-hour structure, you have this 4-hour supply, and more locally, this is the hourly structure. Basically here, low, lower high, lower low. So breaking above this high is your 1-hour breaker structure. But I don't see that as a significant one because we have directly above it supply, more supply, and then the 4-hour. So I have an alert here, but it will be only the first bit of warning sign for, okay, maybe we are in the process of reversing. But yeah, this one is the more important. So into proof and otherwise, this can just be lower high for lower low. And then watch for that third tap creation. For now, yeah, clean levels to work with. And then gold pushed crazy overnight. Also here a nasty front run, because I was watching this range with tap 1, tap 2, and this was extreme liquidity and demand below it, but we did not tap it, and then it overnight took off. So crazy expansion, but not really an entry confirmation. So going forward, let's see what we have. So I want to see, for example, on the 80-hour. The hours, it doesn't matter. It's just where do you see obvious structure. Then I see low, lower high, SFP, break. Which technically means that this whole range is a demand range. So you can look for RIMC continuation. And now it makes even more sense because we have a lot of buy side liquidity above. So that already tells me I'm mostly interested in longs. Again, how did we bottom with an SFP? Super clean. And then I'm gonna watch what are the clean POIs. So I see super clean demand right here, which is a deep retrace. But we have a massive gap here. So price often likes to fill that. Then what do we have on the 6 hour, 4 hour? 4 hour is the same, but then 2 candles of the 8 hour. 3 hour, nothing really interesting. The hourly. So here, this is now our demand range basically. So we can pull our volume profile from the starting point here, from the low to the breakout point, which is basically here. And then watch where is the point of control. And that's our optimal reversal level. So right now we see that's right there. So let's see if we have demand overlapping with that level. Like on the lower time frame, this looks sketchy already. This is like what we just had with Bitcoin. That can get reversed very quickly. They're not really looking too clean. We trending up, so we can pull a range from high to low. Then I would watch this local range. Accumulate here. Then I'm super interested in longs. But I think that if we break below this level, that like this is nothing. This is a big gap. So then it can be a quick reversal back into this level. Which you can see if we zoom out, that this is nothing. So trading plan is then to watch for potential accumulations in this range, if we get it, which would be clean because this is basically our range. This can be the initiation. Then if you are truly bullish, you don't have to mitigate it deeply. You can also tap it and then take off. And that would align with the local reaccumulation right here on top of your former range. And then continue. If you don't get that, then you probably come back for this demand. And then there I would expect a higher low for a higher high. And this is also very likely because especially gold loves to take obvious levels. So sooner or later, this demand will probably be retested because gold doesn't like to leave this behind. So in that case, if you, like here, a distribution is counter context, you want to be very careful with it. But if it's too clean to pass on, so you come back down, and you get the model 1, for example, and your structure confirmation, then you can look for a potential short because there is a reason for the market maker to retest this demand and clear this ugly liquidity. So also here, same range as the other pre-planning. Okay, let's quickly look at the chat. Then we learned a valuable lesson today, Binance Purse as a confluence. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, like especially lately, Binance gave me the entry confirmations and Bybit not. So, and it also makes sense because Binance has like much higher volume, and higher volume is more reliable. If USDT confirms, do you look for models on BTC or how do you use it to trade? Yeah, I use it just in confluence. Sometimes USDT looks cleaner than BTC, and if USDT confirms, for example, the model 1, then I will use that in my trades to look for shorts on crypto. As long as it doesn't confirm, then I remain more bullish on crypto. It's basically just an indicator. If USDT looks bullish, then I'm bearish on crypto. And if USDT looks bearish, then I'm bullish on crypto. And sometimes USDT gives a clean model, while BTC doesn't. And then USDT is always leading for me. It's more important, even as Bitcoin. The court, good to see you as well. The Tau USDT pair and Binance already at step 2 in the low time frame range, potentially two in the low time frame range, potentially mod 1, 2. The USDT pair didn't. Any tips in these cases? Yeah, we just looked at the USDT pair, which confirmed it, but this might be regarding another case. But yeah, then it's, yeah, personally I focus fully on the USDT pairs, USDT perp pairs. So then I would look at like Bybit and Binance, but if they don't confirm it, then I'm personally not gonna watch for then the USDT pairs. Otherwise you end up looking at every exchange where it is. So I personally fully focus on the perps, and either it's there or it's not. And then maybe I can watch between Bybit perps and Binance perps, but beside that I'm not watching anything else personally. Okay, quickly. Oil. Yeah, oil. I'm not really interested in trading oil again. But I believe there was some good news, which caused the risk assets, so also gold and stuff, push overnight. Simply in this range. So we clean reaction from that demand. Perfect reaction. But overall, around the mid-range, not really interesting trading. But silver also followed the plan perfectly, but did not give an entry. So first on the 4 hour, we had this downtrend with lower highs and lower lows, which was broken basically here where we had low, lower high, lower low, and toen a strong break. So here you have a market structure break, back to bullish, and a break of an obvious trend line. I'm not a fan of trend lines, but if it aligns with the rest, you can use it. So here I expect a higher low for a higher high. And then we came down aggressively, where we SFP'd the 4 hour market structure low. And you know how big of a fan I am of SFPs, because SFP, your market structure low, technically means that the high that brought you there is a weak targeted high. So fail to close below this, and price is likely to travel back to that high, which played out again. But then you still need to get an entry, because a good buy is nice, but without a trade, it's worth nothing. Quickly looking what hype is doing. Okay, hype is pulling back into the demand pretty aggressively. So then you want to stay within. Oh, like tapping into demand at the deviation threshold. So now you want to bounce from here, then come back, and then watch for the model 2 or the model 1. If you close further than this, then a lower high for lower low is more likely. So worth watching. Is BTC also selling off? No. Okay, so ETH also confirmed the 1 hour SFP. So this is a bit similar as what I was explaining with silver. Is that this SFP, so technically our high, is a targeted high, which can mean that you get a rotation here back to your high. So that is why playing the model 1 into model 2 needs to be super clean, because then you are technically going against the market structure rules. So going back, we had the SFP right here, creating a wick. Then I was interested in the 50% wick fill. And there we formed this 1, 2, 3. Basically a tree drive, which shows absorption. Then we broke above that range. And here I was interested in this demand for a higher low, for a higher high. But yeah, this all happened overnight and also hard to trade, because you had like low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And then you had the, like you had a break here, but this was like a sketchy break. I would not personally, if I was there, long this. So then I would wait, but then price already left. So getting an entry here, like yeah, if you're watching it live, are you going to enter here? Stop needs to be below that low, and then like in hindsight, you would say yeah, of course. But in the moment itself, it's hard. So the bias, the pre-planning, everything was spot on, but getting the entry was very hard. So that's also part of the game. And then I think we have most extra confluence for hype in that demand. VWAP and fell good for Monday. Let's see. So the weekly VWAP is Monday low. And I think this is your VIP you meant. Yeah. Yeah, I really like how it is developing. But buyers need to step in here, which they are doing right now. So that's perfect. If price now closes back in the range, then this is a valid tap 2. And then we can just watch, like, do we get a model 2 or do we get a model 1? Right now, this already mitigated the top of the demand. So then a model 2 makes a lot more sense as well. So then you don't have to expect the model 1, but then it can be more of like a 1, 3 tap setup. 1, 2, 3, and then long it. And then I will take majority out after taking out this high, but it's likely that you continue your swing, and they can also target higher targets. So quite a lot of clean trades, at least potential trades in the making. So now just a matter of time to monitor them and wait for the confirmations, and hopefully not get trapped like we did with Tao, which fucked us. But right now we now also keep an eye on the Bybit, on the Binance pair, because that one did give the entry. So if there are no questions, then I'm gonna close it, and then I'm gonna make a complaint towards Bybit for not giving us a trade. Great to hear, Arnold. I feel like yeah, we are doing well. If we just continue this together, then we have a bright future ahead. So thanks everyone for tuning in again. I'll speak to you guys in the Discord and during the stream tomorrow again. So thanks for tuning in, and speak to you guys in the Discord as always. Cheers.